All right, let's take a look at the next factor that can influence or have an impact on how the landlord proceeds with re-renting the property, and that's how the tenant dies. Did the tenant die of natural causes? Did they die of an injury? Again, when I say these things, I'm not trying to be callous or anything. I'm just trying to do a presentation. But, did the tenant fall down the stairs and break their neck? Or was there a house fire and they burned to death? Many different things, as we know, can happen to cause the tenants to die in the rental properties. If something like that happens, again, you're gonna have to go get the police, the coroners, all of that involved. But hopefully that shouldn't take too long. They're going to do a coroner's inquest, but they're not sure at this point whether it was a natural death or some of these bad things happened. So it is going to take them a little bit time to investigate that. After they get cleared, then you can move forward with re-renting the property. But you have to wait until you get that clearance. Do not start cleaning and doing all of these other steps I'm going to talk about here today until you get that clearance. That can be very different, though, from if there's some sort of criminal activity that has taken place or associated with the tenant's death. Uh, you know, I hate saying these things, but again, we know that some tenants commit suicide. There's homicides, drug overdoses. Any of these really bad things, associated with criminal activity can take place. Of course, the police and coroner are absolutely going to be involved, but this can potentially take longer, to investigate this whole cause of death. I mean, unfortunately, all of us have seen the TV, what do you call it, those police procedurals where you got the big yellow tape that or the sealed tape there on the doors. You can't even get in. You can't do anything. So this is really imperative that you have to wait to get clearance from the police, from the coroner, because it's a crime scene. You can't even enter the rental property at that time. I imagine this can take a long time. How do you can help me out here? But if there's very suspicious, circumstances, if there are gunshots, stabbings, things like that, of course it's going to take time for the crime scene investigators to gather and collect all that crime. And they may seal it up for a while and need to come back and gather more evidence later. Do you have any experience with this, Hadi? You know how long some of this stuff can take?
The longest we had was uh, a homicide in Will County, in Mokina. Took a month and a half to get the property back.
Wow, I'm not surprised. Yeah.
It took about a month and a half. Um, they took pieces of carpeting, a piece of drywall. They it took about a month and a half to get the property back.
Yeah, I mean, they're going to do what they need to at your property to determine the cause of death and to, investigate the situation. So don't be surprised.
Yeah, suicide, a few of them we had the next day.
That's what I was going to say is, some of them don't take too long. I don't want to say obvious, but when it's sort of obvious, they don't take quite so long. But other ones, especially homicide, yeah, they can take a while. So thank you for sharing that.
The one that there's nobody to prosecute for it, they can back right away. Now, if they somebody accused of murder or something like that, I guess they need to be very careful with chain of evidence and all of that.
Exactly. Yep.
We had a gentleman, unfortunately, he hanged himself in the garage. They came, took the body away, talked to a couple of people, and they never came back.
Yep. So just remember the underlying theme for today is you got to be sensitive to the family. They're going to be shocked, upset, and you have to also be considerate of the police, the coroner, whoever it is that needs to get in there and do what they need to do. Got to be patient and let them, take whatever time that they need. But of course, that's going to impact how long it takes for you to be able to re-rent the property and what you need to do next. Speaking of next, okay, once everything is clear, the police, the coroner, everything, or actually this might even be during this whole, after the death happens, what are some of the things you should do immediately upon a tenant's death? The property could be vacant. If that was the only person who was living there at the property and the tenant died, of course the property is going to be sitting there vacant. Even if there are other tenants, spouses, partners, whatever, the police may require them to leave the property since it's a crime scene, it's sealed, so the property still could be vacant that way. Because the property is vacant, we as landlords, of course, need to make sure that we secure the property. So make sure that we close all the windows and doors. If you have an alarm, install it or activate it. A lot of People suggested to change the locks. And this is a good suggestion because we don't know who the tenant gave keys to. They may have given out 20 different keys. So it's important for us to change the locks because we need to protect the belongings so that people don't come in and remove them. And I'm going to spend here a lot of time talking about tenant belongings in a minute, but we also don't want to allow unauthorized individuals to get inside the property. Some family members may be like, okay, my brother passed away. I'm just gonna, move in and take care of everything that I need to. No, sorry, you're not on the lease. I can't let you in there. But this brother or whoever family member might have a key and they're letting themselves in. So it's always a good idea just to go ahead and change the locks. And that goes along with the next step is do not let anybody inside your rental property. The only ones you should are authorized individuals and executors. And again, I'll hold on a second. In a couple of minutes, we'll talk about who these individuals are and who they are not. Be careful because you're going to have family and friends and a bunch of people saying, oh, I need to go in and get this, or, let me in. I need to see that. You cannot, or you should not. There's going to be legal ramifications. So we'll continue that discussion. Not a bad idea then also to document the condition of the property and the personal belongings. You might want to take some photos and videos. Again, we'll talk about personal belongings, but you don't want to be liable for somebody saying, well, you stole the pearl necklace, you stole the Picasso off the wall. So not a bad idea just to document everything to protect yourself and also to protect the tenant's, belongings. Another one I think a lot of people forget is the tenant, especially if they're by themselves, may have pets in there. So please don't forget the pets. Try to contact family, friends, or some of the emergency contacts. If you just can't find anybody, take the pets to a no-kill shelter. And you guys better do this. If you don't, I will personally go to your home and scalp you. So because I'm a pet person, so just be really, really sensitive to the pets as well. Not sure about this one, but not a bad idea is you might want to transfer the utilities in your name. If they're in the tenant's name, you don't want the electricity to be cut off in the middle of winter because the tenant is deceased and the gas bill is not being paid, etc. And then don't forget that, yes, the property is vacant there. So you should make arrangements. You got to periodically check in on it yourself or hire somebody or whatever. And, don't forget that there are still ongoing maintenance maintenance items there at the property that you need to take care of. So those are, some of the things you should be taking care of right away as soon as the tenant passes away. Right. Okay. So that's the first thing you should do. Next, let's take a look at tenant belongings, because I think this is a big question in a lot of people's minds about what do I do with these belongings? How long do I have to hold on to them? Who can I release them to, etc. So let's do a quick poll, maybe not a poll, but more like a quiz we're going to do on this one. Give me a second here. So let's, everybody on the call, answer the questions. What do you think? Can the landlord give the tenant's belonging to whoever asks for them?